everyone. I welcome you all to this session, and here we shall discuss about the geography of travel. Let us now focus on the important topics this session is going to cover, and they are Introduction to Geography of Travel, Theoretical Models of Travel Flows, Demand for Origin Factors, Destination and Resource Factors, Travel Flows, its trends and types. Now, we will start with our introduction to geography of travel. The study of tourist movements is important for several reasons. For those at a destination, it is vital to know the origins of the visitors. By knowing where the market comes from, marketing plans can be drawn up to reach potential travelers. Also, by studying the geographic characteristics of existing tourists, it may be possible to identify additional untapped market areas. For example, we may note that visitors to a particular sun and fun destination tend to come from cold weather cities with 600 miles where there is no market effort are present. The study of traveler flows has been called by many the geography of travel and tourism. A number of authors and researchers have attempted to explain past travel flow patterns and the unevenness by developing and using theoretical models. The hypothesis put forward by Williams and Selinsky is that travel flows are not random but have distinctive patterns that can be explained by several identifiable factors. They suggest that these factors include spatial distance, presence or absence of past or present international connectivity, reciprocity of travel flows, attractiveness of one country for another, known or presumed cost of a visit within the destination country, influence of interviewing opportunities, impact of specific non-recurring events, the national character of the citizens of originating countries, and the mental image of the destination country in the minds of the citizens of originating countries. The demand for tourism occurs at the origin. Demand is either effective or actual, the number of people who actually travel. Suppressed demand comes from the number of people at the origin who, for one reason or another, do not travel. If, however, the factors that prevented them from traveling were removed, they would be inclined to travel. This is referred to as potential demand. Deferred demand, on the other hand, refers to demand that is put off because of the scarcity of supply. There may, for example, be a lack of package tours to where the tourist wants to travel. Both potential and deferred demand can be converted into effective demand by an increase in income or the development of package tours to specific destinations. The travel propensity for a given population is determined by a number of factors. The demand for tourism is first a function of the country of origin's level of economic development. As a country moves toward a developed economy, more people move from employment in the primary sector to employment in the secondary or manufacturing sector and eventually in the tertiary or service sector. The percentage of the population that is economically active increases from 30% or less in developing countries to 50% vacations. A healthier population and greater educational opportunities all combine to produce a greater demand for travel and tourism. The distribution of the population between urban and rural areas has a significant impact upon the demand for travel and the travel patterns. Densely populated rural areas tend to indicate a population dependent on the agriculture with neither the time nor the money to travel. In contrast, densely populated urban areas suggest an industrialized society with the time, money and innovation to travel. The distribution of a population also affects travel patterns. Patterns of international travel are affected by patterns of domestic tourism. On a worldwide basis, domestic tourism far exceeds international tourism, although the relative percentages of domestic to international tourism vary by country. While factors at the origin push people to travel, destination characteristics pull them to vacation. Visitors seek what they cannot get at home. A number of factors help pull factors. Climate is a key factor. Everything from sunbathing to skiing is dependent on climatic factors. Climate is a major determinant of the length of the season for many destinations. When the snow is gone, so is the ski season. Three major factors determine the kind of weather, water temperature and physical conditions tourists encounter at a destination, and they are water currents, wind and mountains. Because land surfaces heat and cool faster than large water bodies of water, the oceans act as a source of heat. Both coastal areas and islands enjoy temperate conditions compared to the extremes experienced by large land masses. The Gulf Stream, which brings warmth from the ocean, brings relatively mild winters to much of Western Europe. The tropical trade wind and equatorial climates have high temperature, which discourages high activity. Tropical wet dry climate have dry season, which is suitable for sightseeing, safaris and beach tourism. Dry climates, due to its potential, sunshine encourages outdoor recreation most of the year. Mediterranean climate has great significance on beach tourism. Warm temperature and humid climate may deter active recreation. Cold marine climates are unfavorable for recreation and have rich bird and marine animal life. Approximately 3/4 of the earth is mountain or hill land. These are suitable for recreation all year long. In winter, skiing and other snow-based recreation is possible, while the clear, crisp air at other seasons allows opportunities for such things as walking, sightseeing and photography. As noted above, mountains can provide relief from the summer heat for those in the lower lands. The lack of population adds to the attractiveness of these areas. Most of the world's population lives in plateaus and plains. Coastal plains are ideal for tourism development, providing as they do access to beach and sea. Inland waters are also attractive to tourists, allowing a variety of recreational pursuits in addition to their attractiveness as a scenic resource. While climate and natural resources are major factors in drawing visitors to a destination, visitors are also attracted by culture, history, ethnicity and accessibility of a destination. Theoretical models of travel flows. The study of traveler flows has been called by many of the geography of travel and tourism, or simply tourist geography. Sam Atley notes, there is obviously an uneven spatial distribution of international tourist activities. He attributed to the following factors: the uneven distribution of tourism resources between destinations, the wide variety of activities in which travelers participate, change in season, weather, international and domestic political situation, economic changes in countries of origin and distribution, fluctuations in monetary exchange rates, increase or decrease in the price of tourist services, and staging of special short duration attraction and events. A number of authors and researchers have attempted to explain past travel flow patterns and unevenness trends. The north-south movements intensified as new southern destinations were developed in Norway emerged as a growing originating country. The reasons for these changing flows can be examined by developments in the countries of origin, in the destinations, and in the linkages themselves. Population growth in the countries of origin is one reason for the growth. More people with more discretionary income produce a larger potential market. Complementarity is another reason. The north-south traffic is strong because of the movement from colder northern countries to warmer southern areas around the Mediterranean coast. The distances involved and the fact that certain markets, in particular the United Kingdom, are insular explain the rise in importance of inclusive tour characters. The long coastlines of Spain and the short distances involved between airport and hotel, together with the close proximity of other tourism features, lead to an increase of packaging. Spain was linked to the 8 major European markets, the most important being in UK. In fact, UK-Spain route was the most important in terms of volume, accounting for over 1/4 of the total traffic within Europe between countries that has at least 1% of the market. Global travel flows. Since World War II, international tourism has grown tremendously, showing annual average growth rates in tourist arrivals of just over 7% from 1950 to 1990. In the 90s, however, growth slowed to less than 6% a year, a reflection of a maturing market. International tourism recipients are increasing at a faster rate than arrivals. In part of this reflects the influence Asian and Pacific countries whose tourists spend proportionately more when on vacation than do visitors from other regions. According to United Nations World Tourism Organization, this caused a pent-up demand for travel that began to be released 2005, resulting in a worldwide increase in international arrivals for the year of 5 to 8%. Tourism is the world's largest industry and generator of jobs. To put that in perspective, if tourism were a country, it would have the 3rd largest economy in the world, behind the US and Japan. Over 80% of European tourism is intra-regional. Arrivals and receipts are a direct reflection of strengths of European economies. Lackluster growth in the 1980s and 1990s led to poor results. The relatively strong showing by Europe is due to the propensity of Europeans to travel and the fact that countries in Europe are smaller than in other regions of the world. A trip over 100 miles in US, for example, might get an individual into another state. This will be recorded as a domestic arrival. In Europe, if that 100-mile trip meant traveling to another country, it will be classified as an international arrival. The Americans remain a distant, second in both international arrivals and receipts, while also experiencing a loss of market share. The US, Canada and Mexico together represents about 3/4 of total arrivals and receipts in the Americas. The US alone accounts for 40% of all arrivals and over 60% of all tourism receipts in the region. Growth in the region, however, is most evident in South America. Significant increases are also projected for Latin America. In East and the Pacific, the fastest growing sub-region is Australasia and other Pacific islands. Northeastern Asia, however, is the most visited sub-region, accounting for more than half of all arrivals in the region. In the African region, South Africa is showing most growth as a result of strong demand in both leisure and business travel. The market share in Northern Africa has been declining due to negative results from both Algeria and Morocco, while East Africa is experiencing a sustained growth in arrivals from Europe. Nearly 2/3 of all international tourism receipts in Africa come from 3 countries such as Morocco, South Africa and Tunisia. Middle East growth has been fueled by Egypt, which accounts for almost half of the increase in arrivals and 8% of the increase in receipts for the region. Although the proportion of intra-regional traffic in the region has been declining, it is still important. In fact, Egyptians and Saudi Arabians together account for more than 20% of all tourists in the Middle East. Egypt is both the largest generator and recipient of tourists. Tourism to Saudi Arabia is strictly for business or religious purposes. While the region has great cultural wealth, attacks in the mid-90s on tourists visiting Egypt rekindled travel converse. The growth in South Asia is a product of strong increases to India, a sustained growth of long-haul leisure travel from Europe, the Middle East and Asia. An attempt has been made to forecast outbound short and long-haul travel in the year 2014. There is a difference between short-haul and long-haul volume. Research studies reveal that short-haul is defined as countries in the same UN World Tourism Organization sub-region as a generating country, while long-haul is defined as travel to countries outside the generating countries UN WTO sub-region. For example, travel from France to Germany would be short-haul, while travel from France to Canada would be long-haul. Most countries, outbound long-haul travel will grow faster than short-haul. Israel, Sweden, Venezuela are exceptions. Most countries, long-haul traffic will grow at a slower pace in the next decade compared to the last one. Australia, Canada, Mexico and the UK are the exceptions on this point. Similarly, except for France, Germany, Sweden and the UK, most countries' short-haul traffic will be less in the next decade than in the previous one. Thus, the growth is expected in outbound volume. Both long-haul and short-haul traffic will be slow for most countries. the rates of growth of long-haul traffic are related to growth in gross domestic product. GDP is also an explanatory factor in about half of the short-haul models in explaining short-haul growth than in explaining long-haul. The 65 and older age group is an especially important factor. The US will continue to be the largest source of long-haul traffic, with Japan, UK and France in the second tier. Developing countries, despite large growth rates, will be small generators of long-haul travel. The 65 and older age group in a larger and growing segment regarding the generation of long-haul travel. By this, we have come to the end of this session too. I hope you all have understood briefly on the geography of travel. There are many theories and definitions to what can be understood through the term of tourism geography, and researchers are still debating on what is and not included in the rather large field of study. The content of tourism geography is complex, making a connection between the two concepts of geography and tourism being rather new compared especially with the term of geography. The beginning of the sciences can be traced at the beginning of the 20th century, although tourism was being inside the study of geography long before. Thank you.